co-founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York, I stand here heartbroken because I have to hug a father who knows that the murderer of his son will most likely go free, who has to look in the face of a jury that no matter the facts, no matter the expert witnesses, no matter the people yelling on that train that day to let Jordan go, you will kill him. They will not find a white man guilty of killing a black man in modern day America. This is no different than Jim Crow. This looks like a picture out of the picture book when you look at that anonymous jury. We have baby boomers who were there doing Jim Crow on this jury. We have young people who are looking at Daniel Penny as a hero. And what America is a hero, a killer. He didn't give a crap about Jordan. The medical examiner said Jordan turned purple. Yes, black people can turn purple when they're denied oxygen. Every lab report showed he died of asphyxiation. And that doesn't matter because they want to spare a white man the penalty of his crimes. America has not changed, and I hate to say it, it may never change. And people who keep asking, are we going to riot? Are we going to protest? Is that what's needed? Do glass have to break? Do cars have to burn for a black man to get justice in America? We can't show up with peace. We can't show up with facts. We can't show up with evidence and witness after witness. You give us nothing. And then you ask us to love this country. America hates black people, and we see it from that jury pool.
A black man was lynched, and his name was Jordan Neely.
God.
All right.
Mercy.
Nicole, well, before I get you to respond, let's talk about the case a little bit. So this, of course, is regarding the trial of Daniel Penny, charged with manslaughter in the subway chokehold death of Jordan Neely, has reached jury deliberations after weeks of testimony. Jurors are reportedly struggling to reach a unanimous decision on the primary charge of manslaughter and have been directed to focus on the secondary charge of criminally negligent homicide, which carries a lower burden of proof. And this is why what the BLM protester was talking about. So the case, deeply polarizing, hinges on whether Penny's actions constituted self-defense or excessive force in restraining Neely. Nicole, I want to get your thoughts on that, with that diatribe she just gave, that press conference.
Typical race baiting. She just pulled, page 7 out of the "Let Me Be So Angry That I Scare White People" handbook. There's something about misdirected anger that does not ring true. No matter how loud you are, no matter how deep you make your voice, no matter how much screeching you do, if your facts aren't right, you're still wrong. You're loud, but wrong. And go ahead and threaten this America now about burning cars and breaking windows. Honey, this is not Joe Biden's America anymore. It really is not. You will get locked up. Have you not seen your mayor on television talking about how he's all about MAGA now and MAHA now? Honey, go ahead and break a window if you want to and see what happens to you. This is not your summer of riding. This man was on the train with everybody else going to work. Jordan was out there, acting a fool. Apparently he had some mental health issues and was threatening not only Penny, but several people on the train. And not only Penny, but other people, held him. And you can see it in the video. Penny has him in a chokehold, and there's a black man and a Hispanic man that are holding his arms down, and he was fighting and struggling the whole time. When I get up, I'm going to kill you. You think I'm letting him up? No way. Right. This has nothing to do with Jim Crow. I don't even think she understands what that is. I don't think she has a real grasp on when you ring this bell about black men being killed unnecessarily by the police.
Yeah.
You can't ring it every single time. You're like the boy who cried wolf. No one's going to believe you when it really happens. Not that anybody is anticipating anybody being killed by the police, but if something serious happens, she's one person that we can't take seriously.
But this is what they do. This is what they love to grab onto these types of cases only these types of cases. And we have here, before I get you in on this, Shelley, I just want to talk about this BLM. They are always talking about only cases where a white man is the aggressor, and they don't do it when it's the real thing in our communities that hurt us is black on black crime or any other race. Here we have a photo here of a little girl, Ivory Smith, was killed when a man who it was illegal crashed into her while drunk driving. This is just one, and we know that this has been in the headlines. This type of crime, when illegals have killed black people, white people, many of them, nothing. This little girl's death has gone on and not a headline from the press. BLM hasn't said a peep, and they've done this over and over again. But anytime that there's a white perpetrator, on something like this, where it really could go either way, they cry and they scream and they holler about it. Shelley, what are your thoughts on the response to that protest?
Well, number one, I don't know her name. That BLM woman. Let me tell you what she said. Translation: BLM is about to fuck up some shit. That's what they're about to do. That's the translation of what she said. She's getting people revved up because BLM is about to fuck up some stuff. That's number one. Now, I will say this about this Daniel Penny trial and the case. Before that, BLM, you're right, KJ. They don't have this much passion, if you will, putting it lightly, about black on black crime. There was some statistics I had right here. Way back in the 80s, no less, black on black homicide was known to be about 8 times more than that of white crimes or white homicide, white on white homicide. That was back in the 80s, and this is from the victimology, a professional journal. Okay, according to Statista, if you will, in 2023, the FBI reported that there were over 9,000 Black murder victims in the United States, compared to about 7,000, a little more than 7,000 of white murder victims. I didn't hear BLM screaming to F up some cities or whomever about almost any of those, if not any at all. So I didn't hear that. So these people they're only riled up because they like to riot and fuck up some shit. That's what they really like to do, okay? However, this Daniel Penny case, I'm glad that the manslaughter charges were dropped or dismissed, because I never thought that he intended to kill or have that man die. However, chokeholds are dangerous. And of course, this man is fighting to breathe. You cannot breathe when you have pressure on your neck. Yes, that's exactly what happened. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was premeditated by any stretch of the imagination. But that is ultimately what it was. It was a stranglehold, a chokehold, a form of strangulation and asphyxiation, and it did lead to his death.
Yeah, and he's not contending anything other than that. His contention is he believed that his actions were necessary to de-escalate a threatening situation. And so the defense is highlighting Penny's training as a former Marine, which they claim guided his response. And they're arguing that Neely's death was an unintended consequence, as you mentioned, not a result of reckless or criminal negligence. So
I just want to put a little politics in this. This DA, Mr. Bragg, is up for re-election. So the overcharging of Daniel Penny, because this could have been resolved with, negligent homicide and assault. This should have never made it to court. But because this is an election year, and because at that time, when all of this case first started, BLM was still the cat's meow, and Joe Biden was, and his DOJ was not doing anything to prosecute these people for burning our cities and looting and all of that. Things have changed greatly. We're in a whole nother situation. A very big difference between then and now. KJ, you were talking about little Ivory. Her mother is still in critical condition. Her mother was driving the car when this Venezuelan illegal smashed into their car, drunk driving again. So when we talk about things that get media attention, and instead of showing the screeching Politico screaming and hollering about a case that, you know, she has no standing in. Crickets for baby Ivory.
Wow.
Crickets. And if you think that's unfair, I'm going to need you to hit that like button.
Right.
For that little angel who was minding her business, riding home with her mom in the car, who lost her life, and no one knows her name.
Nobody. No, but we know George Floyd. We know who was the guy here in Baltimore.
We know Michael Brown. We know Trayvon. We know Freddie. We know all of their names.
It's terrible because it suits the needs of mainstream media to rile up emotions. It suits the needs of the left to create a race riot. Again, this whole intersectionality, again, this whole Marxist, communist, critical race theory, all of it lumped into one. That's what it keeps us pushing towards. And that is why they continue to uplift those stories and not the story of Ivory. So it's awful. But this is why we're here. This is why we do what we do, folks. Please continue to hit the like button, share this broadcast. This is why independent media is so important. And thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called out their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote your dollars, support Made in America, back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. And we found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click yes, I want to make the switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to take everything on at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Again, visit www.popandswitch.com. Click the link and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, we can create real change. And this is what we're all about here. So we will continue to keep our prayers uplifted for Ivory. We'll also, I am at least praying that God's will be done in this Daniel Penny case. I personally do not believe he should get any jail time. I just don't. I've actually been in a situation like the one on that subway here in Baltimore City. And it's a scary thing when you have people who are out of their minds, who are either high on drugs, and they do get violent. I had a situation happen to me. I also had a friend in downtown Baltimore who got punched in the face by a homeless guy. She was her and the family were going to a graduation party for her nephew who was graduating middle school, coming out of a restaurant. Some homeless guy walks up to her and punched her dead in her face. This happens. These people, this happens in cities. So, if a guy there, was able to stop that in somehow, some way, I would have been grateful. She would have been grateful. So I don't know. I hope God's will be done, and we'll continue to bring you the latest on that case. I want to talk next about these pardons. These pardons that Joe Biden is actually planning to do. Before I get into that, I do want to acknowledge our super chatters here, folks. Thank you so much. So let's see here. Laura says, what did Jordan do to get shot? $2. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat. Well, says, thank you, ladies, for speaking the truth. Thank you. Thank you. Gwen Thompson with the $20 super chat. The guy was still living when paramedics arrived. He certainly was. There was a heartbeat. Penny is not guilty. Yeah. I encourage you all to check out the Free Press. They have a very good video taken from people who were at the scene. And it's a timeline of everything that occurred. And when you watch this video, to me, it's clear this guy should not be in jail. It was not only him, but several bystanders were watching him, they were afraid. You could tell they didn't want him to let this guy go. And like Laura said, he didn't die. He was still alive when the police got there. So
yeah, but that's okay. I want to correct something. I want to add, let me say this way. The police could have come, the paramedics did come. And so people can have a heartbeat and still be brain dead. When you are strangled, your brain does not get oxygen. And you don't need 6 or 9 minutes to be brain dead. It happens before that. That's number one. Number two, because he was moving, that is a body's automatic reaction, automatic response to trying to, because you can't breathe. Your body's going to go into convulsions, period. You can't stop it. So he wasn't trying to get away. His body was trying to get air. So let's just get those biological, physiological, medical facts on the table. Whether or not I don't think he's guilty either. Again, I don't think he should go to jail. I don't think it was intentional by any stretch of the imagination. But those are medical, biological, and physiological facts.